Hey everybody, this is Deepak and you're watching Legal Minds. Today, let us try and understand the Hindu Succession Act of 1956, the amendment to Hindu Succession Act, that is the amendment of 2005. This is a very important amendment to Hindu Succession Act, and we'll also analyze a very landmark judgment when it comes to Hindu Succession Act by Honorable Supreme Court in Vinita Sharma versus Rakesh Sharma. The judgment was delivered on August 2020. So, before 1956, when it comes to interstate succession of Hindus' property, different regions of India had different rules, and there was no uniformity when it comes to Hindu interstate succession all over India. Then what happened is the Parliament of India, addressing this issue, passed Hindu Succession Act in 1956, where it codified and consolidated all the laws relating to interstate succession of a Hindu property. So, and it came into force on 17th June 1956. Now, according to Hindu Succession Act, the property can be devolved to the other person or a family members in two ways, that is through succession or inheritance. Now, succession merely means who will be the successor to the property, who will succeed to the property in future, and inheritance means from whom the property is derived, who will derive the property, who will inherit the property next. Then the act applies to Hindus, Buddhist, Jain and Sikh. So the Hindu Succession Act will apply to these four religions. Now, according to Hindu Succession Act, the properties are of two types. So this is very important. One is ancestral property, the other is self-acquired property. Now, ancestral property means a property which you get from your grandfather or great grandfather, and the self-acquired property is a property which you acquire yourself on your own funds. You acquire this property through your own funds. Now, this is the basic structure of an Hindu undivided family. Now, this person is a holder of an ancestral property, his wife. Now, this person will have son, daughter, grandson, great grandson, great great grandson. Now, there are two important terms which we should know. One is members and co-partners. Now the question is, will all these members of Hindu undivided family will also be co-partners? For example, great grandson, he will have his wife, son also might have his wife, and great great grandson his daughter, etc. Now daughter's husband. Even though this everybody is called as members, but they are not co-partners, because co-partners are those who can claim right over this property, but not every member can claim right over this property. Now the concept is, when it comes to ancestral property, according to section 6 of the Hindu Succession Act, that is before amendment of 2005, only lineal descendants from same ancestor, that is male, lineal descendant, these are the lineal descendants of the same ancestors, and only males are eligible to acquire the ancestral property, and daughter had no right over such property, and the right only transferred to 3 generations. For example, for this property, son, great grandson and great great grandson will have a birthright, and if this person dies, then it will transfer to son, great grandson, great great grandson and great 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 grandson. So this is how the property will devolve when it comes to ancestral property before the amendment of 2005. Here, Section 6 talk about survivorship rule before the amendment of 2005, which said, as I explained, if this person is alive, only next three generation will have the right over such property. It means these three are the survivors. If this person expires, then son, great grandson, great great son, great great grandson, great 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 grandson will acquire such right. That is called the rule of survivorship. Now let us come to amendment of 2005. Here, the main features of this amendment is, first of all, the amendment came into force from 9th September 2005. Amendment of 2005 replaced survivorship rule by testamentary succession and intestate succession. So what happens is, when it comes to testament succession, there is no issue, because testament succession only applies when it comes to self-acquired property, where person who has acquired property by himself through his own funds can, through will, transfer his property to his son, daughter, wife, or even to XYZ, that is any random person. It is absolutely possible when it comes to testamentary succession, where person makes a testament that property will go to so and so person in future. But when it comes to intestate succession, a person dies intestate without making a testamentary, then according to Hindu Succession Act, the property will devolve between class 1 to class 4 heirs. This rule will apply. Now, according to this rule, for example, class 1, the first preference will go to widow, his son, daughter. So, these people will share the property among themselves equally. There will be no discrimination. So, the main feature of the amendment of 2005 was, first of all, every co-partner will share the property equally among themselves according to the class 1 to class 4. Through this amendment, even daughter is also a co-partner. Here, before 2005, daughter was not a co-partner. Only lineal descendant from the same ancestor, especially males, only males were regarded as co-partners. But after 2005, even daughters are considered as co-partner. They have birthright over such ancestral property, and same like sons, they also share the liability over such property. So let us again understand. The Hindu Succession Act of 1956 was passed to codify and consolidate the laws related to interstate succession of Hindus, Buddhists, Jains and Sikhs, which came into force on 17th June 1956, where according to Hindu Succession Act, the property will devolve to only lineal descendants from same ancestors, that is 3 generations, and the rule of survivorship applied here. But the Amendment Act of 2005 replaced the rule of survivorship, and they brought in the new 2 concepts called intestate succession and a testamentary succession, where when it comes to self-acquired property, through will a person can transfer his property to his son, daughter, wife, or even to a random person. But at the same time, when it comes to intestate succession, here only the rule of Hindu Succession Act will apply, where class 1 to class 4 heirs rule will apply. And through the amendment of 2005, daughter also became a co-partner, where she acquired birthright over such ancestral property. Now, let us understand, after 2005 amendment, there was certain confusions or doubts which arise. That is, amendment, the doubt was father The very important doubt or confusion which arose after the Amendment Act of 2005, which came into force on 9th September 2005, the question was whether father should be alive after this period so that the daughter can get right. Right, but for daughter to get equal right in father's property, whether the father should be alive. What happens if the father has expired per, per se on 8th September 2005? What will happen? This question first time came before the Honorable Court in a very important case is that is Prakash versus Purvati in 2016. Now, in this case, the Supreme Court held that to acquire birthright or equal right or to become a co-partner, a daughter for a daughter, the father should be alive, and daughter also should be alive. So, according to this judgment, only when these two conditions are satisfied, then the daughter will get an equal share when it comes to ancestral property. Now, there was again a petition in one more case. Here it was a two-bench judgment again in Dannamma versus Amar in 2018. In this case, Supreme Court held that even if father is dead, daughter has right. In this case, father had expired in year 2001. So in this case, father had expired in year 2001 and act came in 9th September 2005. So the question was whether this act will apply in this case. So Supreme Court held that even if father is dead in year 2001, still daughter has rights over such property. Now there was a confusion whether to follow this judgment or this judgment. Finally, this was settled in August 2020 in Vinita Sharma versus Rakesh Sharma. In this case, Supreme Court clearly held that whether father is alive or not will not affect women's rights. So Supreme Court clearly said whether father is alive or not, it will not affect women's right because this right woman acquires as her birthright. So whether father is alive or not, such right should not be taken away from her, and it is clearly if it was taken away, it would be violative of equality which is enshrined in our constitution. So, my friend, this is all about Hindu Succession Act of 1956, and we also saw the changes brought in by the Amendment Act of 2005. We also gone through three cases: Prakash versus Purvati in 2016, Dhanamma versus Amar in 2018, and finally the landmark judgment, that is August 2020, Vinita Sharma versus Rakesh Sharma, which clearly made it very clear that the woman's right over ancestral property is her birthright, whether father is alive or not, or any other constraints will not affect such right. So, my dear friends, I hope this video was very useful to you. If so, please share this video with your friends, subscribe to my channel and hit that like button. Thank you. Jai Hind.